My name is Tracy. I'm a certified trauma coach, and I teach people to recover from trauma and abuse, regulate their nervous system, reclaim their authentic self, and parent from peace with a trauma history. And today I want to talk about our window of tolerance. What is that? It's essentially the space in which we exist where we can think and feel and not become overwhelmed to the point where our executive reasoning gets shut off, or go into dorsal vagal shutdown where we completely disassociate and cannot engage appropriately. People who have a regulated nervous system, people who have not experienced trauma and abuse, their window of tolerance is very big. They're able to deal with a full range of emotions. They're able to handle a certain intensity of emotion and still maintain their executive reasoning and be able to think and logic and reason their way through things and manage the situation effectively. People who have experienced sustained trauma and abuse, or trauma and abuse of any type, their window of tolerance is very small, which means our space in which we can feel emotions and still maintain our executive reasoning and our ability to think is very narrow. We struggle with having a wide range of emotions or being able to manage intense emotions effectively while still having the ability to think and reason. And very little fluctuations can very easily send us on one end of the spectrum or the other, either activation, fight or flight, or shutdown. And part of healing, part of using the embodied practices, somatic exercises, the coaching, is to help us expand that window of tolerance so that we are able to experience a wider range of emotions, a wider range of intensity of emotions or triggers or memories, and still maintain our ability to think and reason. And in time, through practice, we can make that window of tolerance larger for ourselves. The point of healing is not to never feel, it's not to never remember, it's not to never get triggered. We are human beings having this human experience. We are going to experience emotions. We are going to have adverse things happen to us. We are going to have things that occur that remind us of the trauma or the abuse. The point is to heal to a point where we are able to endure those things and experience those things without being sent into extreme activation or extreme shutdown, and be able to manage to a point where we can keep our executive reasoning on board while fully feeling what we need to feel. It might sound impossible, especially if you're in the thick of it, still learning these skills. And for some of you watching this, you might look at it and go, that's bullshit. And I thought the same thing. When I was at the beginning of my healing journey, I thought that I was going to have flashbacks all the time. I was going to be triggered all the time. I was going to be an anxious mess. I was never going to have quality of life. I was just going to be living, essentially being hijacked by my emotions and my brain all the time. But slowly but surely, as I begrudgingly implemented these skills into my life, I started to see the change. I started to see the improvement. So I promise you, healing is possible. Finding quality of life and joy in your life and reclaiming yourself and not being swept up in the tidal wave of emotions is possible. As always, please follow, like, and share so we can share the education and support with whoever needs it.